Hi everyone, and welcome to this introduction to JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language used by the web, I guess, and understood by web browsers such as Google Chrome, which I'm using here. And for example, we've got a series of thumbnails here, and every time I click a thumbnail, the main image container here in my web page is updated. Okay? And the thing that is making all of this happen is JavaScript. Now, this introduction to JavaScript is going to give you some insight into how JavaScript works, but it's not going to teach you everything about JavaScript. So please be ready to do your own research on the things that you can do with this amazing programming language. And one of the best resources I know of is w3schools.com, and it has a wonderful Learn JavaScript section. And a lot of the ideas from this tutorial and future tutorials are going to come from w3schools.com. W3Schools tells you that you will learn JavaScript from basic to advanced, so it is a terrific tool. My videos are just kind of to get you started and get you thinking about what JavaScript is all about. Okay? Alright, so this is a very basic example of JavaScript. Of course, we can't just rely on JavaScript. We need to be prepared. We need to have an idea, something to work on. Okay, so here I've got a project folder. I've just called my project folder JavaScript, and I've already been messing around with some different ideas. I've set up an images folder where I've got some pictures of different characters that my students made, and I've also got a thumbnails folder which has exactly the same pictures, but they're much smaller. They're just little thumbnails, and we will be using these images in some of these tutorials that we're gonna have a look at. My message to you, as I just said, is be prepared and be ready with an idea, and try to think about what it is you want to do with something like JavaScript. Okay, so for today's tutorial, my own preparation has involved me just coming up with a very simple basic idea. I'm going to have on my web page, I'm going to have one big image container, and then I'm going to have just a little info box under the image container. And these are the two things that we're going to be working with in today's tutorial. Okay, so let's get into Notepad++. I've already set up my HTML document. Within my HTML document, I have a head section and a body section. My body section already has three divs. I've got a kind of a big container div, which I've already styled up here. It has an ID of container, and I've styled it there. And then inside that container, I've got two more divs. I've got my image container, and I'm linking to an image, and I've got a little div after that called info, and it's empty. Notice that it's empty, and we're going to look at how to access this element. A div, remember, is an element of a web page, and here we have a web document, I guess. But here we have an element. Here's an image element. Here's a div element. Okay, and this div element with an ID of info is empty. And let's just run this in Chrome and see what happens. Brilliant! Okay, so this is my image container, and here is my info div, but it's empty at the moment. Now then, let's have a look at a little bit of JavaScript. Inside the head section of my web page, I'm going to set up a little bit of script. So I need to use script tags. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is use a very common piece of JavaScript. I'm going to direct the JavaScript to my document. This is the current document that I'm working in. And I'm going to target this div, which has an ID of info. I'm going to target that by using this piece of JavaScript. I'm going to get that element by its ID, and the ID of that element is info. So let's type that in there. So I'm going to target that element by using that code, and I'm going to do this. .inner HTML. Whoa, what does that mean? Equals, hi, I am a penguin. Whoa. Well, this piece of JavaScript targets this div with the ID of info. That's what this bit does. And it accesses the inner HTML of that element. Well, we can see at the moment that the inner HTML, which is this area here, it's empty. So what this code is doing, it's accessing the inner HTML of the div, and it's assigning it some data. And this is just a text string. Okay? Now let's see if that works. Let's see if that works, okay? I'm going to save that, and I'm going to run it in Chrome. Oh, it didn't work. What is going on? Why didn't that work? Let's just have a look at what I've done here. Document.getElementById. Yep, that's fine. We're accessing that element, the info div. Yep. That's the ID. Yep. We're accessing the inner HTML of that element, and I'm assigning. Yeah, that should work. Ah, right. I forgot. Okay, this is very important. When I run this page in Chrome, Chrome starts here, and it works its way through the code. So it looks at the HTML tag and says that's fine. It looks at the head tag, says that's fine. It gives the page a title. Brilliant. It recognizes that there's a style section, which it will deal with later. And then it comes to the script section. And it says, okay, I don't know what this is, because I haven't seen it yet. So I can't do anything with that. It's fine. I know that it's JavaScript, but I don't know what that is, because I haven't seen it yet. It's not here. So how do I know what that is? So this script, this is an interesting thing about JavaScript. I'm going to cut that, Control X. I'm going to cut it away from the head section of my web page, which is a valid place to have script tags, by the way. And I'm going to paste it just before the very end of the body. So just before the end of the body, I'm going to paste in my JavaScript. There. So when the page loads, all of this loads fine, all of this loads fine, this loads into the web page, and JavaScript now knows what this is, because it's already been put onto the web page. Let's see if that works. I'm going to save the page, and I'm going to run it in Chrome.
Hello, I am a penguin.
Okay? Now that's all I'm going to talk about in today's tutorial. It's a very quick introduction to JavaScript, and you, I think, are now ready to have a go at a couple of little challenges.